So first of all, the constituency of North Norfolk, there's no UKIP candidate. Why is that?
Now, UKIP is standing right across the country, but we've made a decision. We're a very different party to the old parties in that we don't trade ourselves on power for power's sake. We are here to make a real difference to this country. And so in some seats that is by winning the seat, but in others it's by stepping out and backing other candidates. That's what we've decided to do in North Norfolk. For various different reasons. I personally think Norman Lamb is a fantastic MP, and in terms of carers and the health agenda, I don't think there's a better MP in Parliament.
So what are you saying to your supporters in the constituency? Back Norman Lamb?
As a party, we are backing the Conservative Party in that area for their stance on Brexit. So as a voter, if Brexit is important to you, it's important to us to hold the Prime Minister to account. And the Lib Dems are way off where the country is on that. But Norman Lamb, as an individual MP, is someone I could wholeheartedly support. So it depends on the issues that most matter to you. If it's Brexit, it's the Tories. If you really think that the health service matters, I think Norman Lamb is the man. I think if the health service matters to you, I think Norman Lamb is the man for you.
Okay, let's move more generally now on to UKIP. What is your party's policy in relation to health and social care? Because we've obviously started off on that point.
It is a complex issue, but UKIP has a very clear position on it. Whilst the Conservatives seem to be all over the place, not quite telling everybody what they intend to do, I think probably because the nasty Conservative Party are going to do what they normally do and hit the poorest and most vulnerable people really hard. UKIP is very clear though. We will take money out of the foreign aid budget, £11 billion that currently goes abroad. We will retain £3 billion of it in order to still do the most essential disaster relief. But of that 11 billion we'll take out of that spend sector, 2 billion will go into adult social care and 9 billion will go into the health service. UKIP is very clear and very consistent about where its priorities are. Our priorities are here in the UK, serving British people.
Lisa Duffy, as Foreign Affairs spokesperson for UKIP, what do you say to those people who will criticise the party for saying you really mustn't take away foreign aid? It's vitally important that we show to the world that we're a caring country.
Oh, absolutely, and we are a caring country, and UKIP are extremely caring. Not only do we care about abroad, but we care about home first. Hence why, as Pete's just said, what we want to do with the foreign aid budget. But actually what we want to do is to stop the 0.7% of GDP going to foreign aid. What we want to do is to bring it much more in line with 0.2%. That'll be between £3 to £4 billion. That brings us in line with the likes of America and actually would double what both Italy and Spain give together. So for us, it's about a balancing act. It's ensuring that they have clean water, inoculation, certainly for the children, and making sure there is enough money there for emergency aid. What we're not prepared to do is to be a handout of £35 a day where people in Pakistan can just go and get that money as a benefit when they're actually running a space programme. So it's about balancing things and making sure aid goes to those that need it. But equally, we have a crisis here at home in the NHS, within the care sector, and it's vital that we prioritise that, and I believe UKIP is the only party that's doing this properly and robustly.
One of the issues that's come to the fore, or perhaps one of the key questions this time, is funding, and all parties are being questioned on the subject of funding. How confident do you feel that UKIP's proposals on funding will be sufficient to give a good national health service and give a good social care service?
One of the great things about UKIP and its policies is we don't just say things because the polling drives you to say that thing because it's what the public wants to hear. We're a party that's prepared to say things that are needed to be said, whether the public wants to hear it or not. On our spending, we were the first party to have its manifesto fully costed, fully signed off, so there were no black holes. And we've already seen, even during this general election, the Conservative Party and the other parties make spending pledges that just don't stand up. UKIP isn't like that. We have costed every line of our manifesto because we have to, because we are under much more scrutiny than any other party. And so we're absolutely confident that our consistent policies that we've held for more than a decade without changing the values that are beneath them, unlike every other party who seems to U-turn every time you speak to them, UKIP is very consistent, very clear on its values, and we are absolutely confident that the spending pledges we make are absolutely thought through, and we are confident we can deliver them.
Aren't you inevitably going to have to raise council tax in order to help fund social care?
Absolutely not. It's a complete myth. Councillors here in Cambridgeshire, where I've been a county councillor, Conservatives, Labour and Lib Dems have got together to raise council tax every year in the name of trying to protect public services. And the reality is every penny of those tax rises over the last 5 or 10 years has gone into the coffers of the county council, building up their reserves. Not one penny of it has gone into actual frontline services. Now, that's not the same everywhere, so I won't tar every council with the same brush. But we in UKIP are the only party that is absolutely dedicated to low taxation, keeping money in your pockets, but delivering frontline services by reducing waste, reducing the bureaucracy that exists, and doing things in a more integrated way. And you can't get you can't get a picture that is less integrated than the health service and adult social care. One of UKIP's main priorities is to link up those services and deliver it properly, which is a complicated thing, but we think we've got the answers on how to deliver it, and we've got the dedication to make it happen.
Lisa, the Labour Party are talking about leading towards a national care service in their manifesto. Do you believe that's the answer to putting social care on a proper footing?
I think with social care, it's about the integration between all of the departments. So maybe a national care programme will work, but actually it's about joined up thinking between departments. And we know within the care service, we've got young people, old people, there's a whole host. So in terms of care, everybody is different, and so what we want to see is an integrated use of data so that can be shared amongst different community groups, and that there is a joined up thinking. So whether that works or not, I don't know if that's the right answer. What I will say is that we are very, very keen as a political party to make sure there's joined up thinking and there is money available. And certainly when we look at in terms of something such as mental health, that covers a vast variety of different issues, and there isn't a one size fits all, but it's making sure those services join up to make sure each person gets the right care for them.
And perhaps not just join up in the opinion of some. They say there should be parity between physical and mental health.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, mental health has been something that is now on the agenda. And I think that's primarily thanks to William and Kate, because they're bringing it to the forefront. But, everybody's lives, and I think they say 1 in 4 people have been touched at some point by mental health. And, it certainly happened for me personally. And, I've said that in the past, after having my 4th child. So, everybody is touched in some way, and there are different levels of support. And mental health is so difficult because you can't see it. And it's very difficult for people to be able to identify it and see it as a problem. And we also want to do is to bring better training in our teachers, so that teachers can identify mental health issues as they occur in young children, because that's where younger children are becoming more and more vulnerable to those issues as our society is changing. So it's very important that at all level we make sure there is the right investment. So it's a big piece of work to do, but we as a political party are very, very keen to ensure this foreign aid budget is actually pushed into these different services within the care network.
Our audience, whom we've been speaking to intensively over the past 2 weeks, certainly since the election was called, are effectively saying they've all got all sorts of different ideas which appear on our website, but the essential thing seems to be that carers are saying carers should be paid, supported and trained, and in that way they can give better care to the person they care for and also save the country money. What's your take on that?
We are the one party, and if you read our manifesto, if you Google it, UKIP Manifesto 2017, you'll see we refer to this directly. We are the one party that genuinely believes that carers are the answer. The community is the answer to this problem. And we find it very frustrating that central government and the old political parties seem to see carers as a problem rather than the solution. And we believe investing in carers and carers networks is actually as worthwhile an investment, perhaps more worthwhile than infrastructure investments. It's good for the economy and it's good for people. And I say people because what the other parties tend to lose sight of is that it's real people, real families at the end of this process and funding streams. That's why UKIP won't means test carers. It won't means test disability benefits and benefits for the elderly. We're the only party that says the system of testing people is wrong and degrading, and we will put that right.
Finally, if a UKIP candidate is elected in a particular constituency, goes to his first or her first constituency surgery, and a carer comes in who's been unpaid up to that point, has got a job offer, but is being criticised by some professionals and by perhaps friends or relatives for putting herself or himself above others by accepting a work offer. What would you say that the candidate or the then elected UKIP member would say to that person? How would they advise them?
UKIP is a party that really does believe in people being able to make decisions for themselves. One of the problems in this country is we don't really value those who do care, and often they're a hidden person in the whole equation. People notice the patient or the client, people notice the service providers, and often it's a carer who's lost in the middle of all of this. So I would say absolutely, let's make sure that all of the service and support is in place, and that's entirely what we're all about, but carers have got to put themselves first as well.
And I think it's really important that they are given the support to be able to do that. What an awful position to be in, not being funded enough to be able to stay home and be that carer, but having to go out and get a job. So we need to be keeping the pressure on as a political party to stop that happening, but actually ensure that there is support there so that they can make the decision that's right for them and their family. And I think any caring MP would do the same.
Thank you both very much. Thank you.